What happens when you mix family ties, street legends, and a city that doesn't forget? Well, apparently, you get blood on the sidewalk and jewelry on blast. Chicago's South Side is shaking, again, and the man at the center of it all. None other than Chief Keef's cousin Tado, the same guy who's been living the LA dream while the city he left behind quietly plotted revenge. But wait, this isn't just another he said, she said drill drama. Oh no, this is 4 watches, 4 chains, and a literal suitcase threat kind of drama. Imagine stepping off a plane, flexing like you own the block and tweeting death threats before lunch. That's exactly what Tado did. And now the internet, the streets, and everyone with a mixtape page are losing it. People are asking, is this bravado or a ticking time bomb? Is Chief Keef about to lose another piece of his family to the very city he abandoned? And what about King Von? Yeah, the ghost from old Chicago beef, lurking in the shadows of this comeback? Buckle up, because this story isn't just about music. It's about blood, betrayal, and a city that never forgives. By the end of this video, you're going to wonder, can Glow Gang really survive, or is history about to repeat itself in the deadliest way possible? Chicago streets are whispering secrets again, but this time the whispers are screaming. The man at the center of the storm is Tado, real name Darren Rose, Chief Keef's cousin, LA resident, and now the South Side's newest headache. You might think, oh, another rapper, another flex, just some jewelry and social media bravado. But this isn't a mixtape cameo. This is a direct declaration of war on the city that refuses to forget its past. When Tado stepped onto the South Side pavement, adjusting his hat, 4 watches glinting in the sunlight, 4 chains bouncing with every motion, and a camera recording every move, the streets collectively held their breath. He wasn't just showing off wealth, he was announcing presence, dominance, and intent. Every drill page reposted the clip within hours. Pages like My Mixtape, Daily Hip Hop on Demand, Squid Ape TV, and Poetic Flaco News couldn't get enough. The visuals were magnetic, the threats unmistakable, and the timing was calculated. This wasn't a casual visit. This was a strategic statement. Anybody from 6, I'm back. Play me, you're on die, Tado said. And the words weren't floating in some abstract internet space. They were geotagged to the same blocks where Glow Gang blood is still buried in the concrete. Every person watching knew the stakes. Southside Chicago doesn't play. And while Tado had been spending most of his time in LA with Chief Keef and other Glow Gang affiliates, this clip framed him as a man returning home not for nostalgia, but to remind the city that Glow Gang isn't gone. But before we even unpack the threats, let's rewind a bit. Let's understand why this clip alone could make anyone in Chicago pause. Chief Keef left Chicago for a reason. Over a decade ago, the city began collecting debts in blood. Members of his crew, family even, didn't make it. Mario Hess, known as Blood Money, was the warning everyone remembers. Born and raised in West Inglewood, Blood Money was supposed to be the elder statesman of Glow Gang. Older than Keef, wiser, father of 5, and a man finally getting a break. Interscope deal. $50,000 advance working with LA connections, a life-altering bag in hand. He even returned briefly to Chicago, thinking a birthday celebration could coexist with the streets that had chewed up and spit out so many before him. It could not. Within seconds, he was riddled with bullets, 10 times in the torso falling on the sidewalk he grew up on. No arrests, no closure. See, just another name added to the list of reasons Chief Keef permanently left Chicago. The streets of Chicago have a memory, and it's written in obituaries. O.D. Perry, Keith's stepbrother, Marvin Carr, Wolf the Boss, Trey Savage, the list goes on. Every loss, a message. Every funeral, a reminder that if you stay, the city does not forgive, and it certainly doesn't forget. That's the backdrop for Tado's return. He's stepping into a city that has already taken members of his crew, in a city that turned his cousin's birthday into a crime scene. And yet, here he is, 4 watches, 4 chains, flexing, threatening, filming. The internet exploded, yes, but the streets are the jury that really matters. Tado's words were sharp. Put the guns down, but keep on. Y'all folk pushing peaceful, but if we pushing heat, your play, your ass late. Let that sink in. The line draws a crystal clear border. Others can talk peace. Glow Gang is pushing heat. And you're late? That isn't bravado. That's a statement. A warning that the game's already decided the second you make a move against them. Social media comments ranged from laughter to fear. Some joked about suitcases on standby, while others recognized that in a city averaging over 600 homicides a year, jokes and threats are dangerously close. Tado doubled down, repeating, "Get put in that suitcase and post no grave. They gonna find your bodies in other states." The message was consistent, repeated for emphasis, delivered on a platform that guarantees visibility, amplified across thousands of reposts. But let's talk context, because a clip without history is just a viral distraction. Chief Keef built Glow Gang, originally Glory Boys Entertainment, from the ground up. Drill music wouldn't be what it is today without them. Tracks like I Don't Like and Love. Sosa didn't just dominate charts. They painted the reality of Chicago's streets for the world. But the same streets were not forgiving. By 2013, Keef had already started to relocate, sensing the danger before it hit. The first major warning was blood money. The second was the relentless assault on his affiliates. His manager's home was shot up. Other cousins and crew members vanished into violence or incarceration. Every loss a lesson, every lesson written in blood. Blood Money's story is a template. The pattern is chilling. Glow Gang member leaves Chicago with opportunity, returns to the streets with success, and the city reminds them of its rules. And now, Tado is following the same path. Jewelry, check. Death threats, check. Public return to historically dangerous blocks, check. The difference is, the internet is watching in real time. The story going viral with every second Tado stands in Southside sunlight. Every flex, every line, every glare to camera builds a narrative of audacity, of defiance, and of potential disaster waiting to unfold. Meanwhile, the past isn't idle. The allegations surrounding King Von and backdoor betrayals still simmer. Vaughn allegedly had involvement in Blood Money's death, rumors claim, which complicates loyalties and stirs the pot of resentment. Keef has long since distanced himself, building a life in L.A., keeping chefs on call, curating art, and making sure that he survives where others did not. But Tado is operating with a different philosophy. Direct confrontation, public posturing, unapologetic presence, and a willingness to risk everything by returning home. It's bold, it's reckless, and it's exactly the type of drama that fuels drill culture narratives. The streets aren't forgiving. Social media isn't forgiving. Every drill fan, every Glow Gang supporter, every rival 600 affiliate, every casual observer with a phone in hand, all are witnesses to the start of what could be a new chapter in Chicago's violent chronicle. And this is only part one of the storm. The history, the betrayals, the past murders, and the simmering grudges all lead to questions that hang in the air like smoke. Can Glow Gang assert dominance without casualties? Is Tado playing a calculated game or testing fate? And most importantly, will Chief Keef watch his family repeat history while staying safely in Los Angeles? Every name, every block, every gunshot recorded in memory and on Instagram is a signal. The city remembers, the fans dissect, and the rivals plan. Tado's return is not just a story of wealth and bravado, it's a flashpoint between past and present, between legacy and survival, between what was lost and what might be lost again. As the sun sets over Chicago, the watches continue to glint, the chains sway, and the city waits. Because if history is any teacher, the lesson is simple. When Glow Gang comes back, the streets notice, and sometimes the streets decide. As the South Side watches, yes, the story isn't just about jewelry or bold threats. It's about a city that remembers every face, every betrayal, every name buried in the concrete. Tado didn't just return for attention. He returned to stir ghosts, reopen wounds, and remind everyone who's really running the legacy of Glow Gang. And the internet. The internet went wild. Leaks started circulating faster than a drive-by. Anonymous insiders, people close to the situation, claimed they had photos of Tado's LA life, designer watches stacked like a mini jewelry store, chains heavier than some people's entire apartments, luxury vehicles parked like a parade, and a mansion that looks more like a museum than a home. And of course, every single detail came with a disclaimer. Sources say it's only the tip of the iceberg. The community reactions were equally explosive. Some fans were riding the wave. Glow Gang back. Southside never sleeps. Others, not so much. This fool gonna catch the same bag his cousin did, one comment read. You could practically hear the echo of Blood Money's fate in every online debate. And of course, drill pages ran it like breaking news. Clips from Tado's Instagram were stitched together with old footage of Glow Gang beefs, creating a narrative of inevitability. People started digging into old archives, pulling up King Von rumors, 600 beef threads, Oblak alliances, and inside stories no casual fan remembers. The internet wasn't just watching, it was becoming an investigator, a jury, and a hype machine all at once. Inside, sources claimed Tado had spent weeks in LA preparing for the return. Studio sessions with Keef, discussions with loyal Glow Gang affiliates, and plans for a Southside takeover that wasn't just musical. Allegedly, the plan included subtle intimidation tactics, showing off wealth, sending cryptic messages, even broadcasting public threats to send a clear signal. One source close to the crew allegedly said, Tado isn't playing around. He wants people to feel the power before he even steps on their block. It's psychological warfare. And social media amplified every ounce of it. Memes, reaction videos, conspiracy threads, they all pointed to one conclusion. Glow Gang was officially back, and they weren't coming politely. But the real scandal, the history behind these words. Chief Keef's cousins haven't exactly thrived returning to Chicago. Blood Money's death was a blueprint for why Keef left. Hess came back, showed wealth, celebrated with family, and ended up riddled with bullets. And Tado, standing in the same blocks, flexing his success and threatening rivals, is basically living on borrowed time, or at least borrowed luck. You start connecting dots. Blood Money was hit after posting similar flaunts, after returning to a city that doesn't forgive exposure. And now, almost 12 years later, Tado is repeating the formula. Fans immediately notice the parallels, sparking hot debates. Genius move or reckless repetition of history? Some said it was bold marketing. Others whispered about the inevitable consequences. Public reaction split into categories. Category 1. Die-hard Glow Gang fans, hyped for authenticity, reminiscing about Keef's glory days. Category 2. Rival factions, quietly noting addresses, times, and locations, the modern equivalent of putting names on a hit list. Category 3. Casual observers shaking their heads and saying, "Man, why would you go back to that city?" And lastly, Category 4. Social media trolls, creating memes about 4 watches, 4 chains, and suitcases. The suitcase jokes were everywhere, but beneath the humor, the streets were reading it differently. In Chicago, when someone says, "Fold you up, put you in a suitcase," people hear history, not punchlines. Then came the alleged leaks. Sources claimed they had recordings of Tado's discussions with affiliates before the public clip. Conversations allegedly revolved around positioning Glow Gang as the dominant force in Southside again, with references to old rivalries and past murders. One snippet allegedly had Tado saying, "We're not just here to rap, we're We're here to remind them who runs O Block. In the same blocks that took blood money are ours again. Another leaked report suggested Tato's team was tracking movements of rival 600 affiliates, cross-referencing social media updates and preparing countermeasures. Now, keep in mind, these leaks are dramatic, anonymous, and possibly exaggerated. But that's the point. The story spreads, the tension builds, and every viewer is left questioning reality versus hype. Meanwhile, Keef's fans noticed something else. Tato's profile picture change on social media aligned with subtle messaging. Every post, every caption, every tagged location screamed, "Glow Gang legacy continues," but this is not Keef's show anymore. This is Tato's chapter. One insider said he's stepping into a role his cousin died trying to occupy. It's symbolic, it's bold, and it's dangerous. Danger, of course, is the key word. The public couldn't help but draw comparisons. Blood money returned, celebrated, and died. Tato returns. He flaunts success and threatens rivals in the open. The parallels were undeniable. Social media threads exploded. Is history about to repeat itself? Why is Tato so reckless? Chief Keef really let him go back? Tato's behavior wasn't just about threats. It was about lavish display of power. Reports claimed private jets, high-end vehicles, designer wardrobes, and chains stacking higher than the average Chicago apartment rent. Allegedly, the man was also hiring personal security visible in every clip, carrying semi-automatic style props and broadcasting every move like a reality show episode. One anonymous crew insider allegedly told a fake news outlet, "It's like he's saying, 'Look at me. I made it, and I dare you to touch me.' It's theater, intimidation, and ego all rolled into one. And when the internet reacts, the theater amplifies." Every comment section became a jury. Fans debated, enemies plotted, and outsiders watched the spectacle with a mix of awe and fear. Of course, no drill drama is complete without rumors of backdoor betrayal. King Von's alleged role in past blood money drama resurfaced with this return. Fans connected dots, dissected lyrics, and speculated motives. Von backdoored Sosa's cousin, claimed some commentators. Others pushed the narrative that Young Boy's circle somehow played a role. Real, fake, or exaggerated, the tension was palpable. Every rumor compounded the spectacle, making Tato's return less about music and more about psychological chess with a city that thrives on drama, revenge, and notoriety. Social media sentiment analysis, if you want to call it that, was hilarious and horrifying at the same time. Memes of 4 watches, 4 chains, suitcases, and LA life exploded. Some fans made exaggerated TikTok videos imagining Tato folding rival gang members into luggage. But in the shadows, the serious players were taking notes. Locations were mapped, past incidents revisited, and sources claiming insider knowledge speculated on who might respond, when, and how. Chicago, after all, doesn't forget. And no Instagram post changes history. And through it all, Tato maintained a calm, almost theatrical presence. In every clip, every angle, every line, he reminded viewers that Glow Gang isn't a memory. It's an active, dangerous force. The dramatics weren't for clout alone. They were a statement of intent, a provocation, and a test of loyalty and reaction. Rivals weren't just being warned. They were being measured. Fans weren't just entertained. They were being reminded of the stakes. And the internet wasn't just watching. They were participants in the build-up to whatever came next. The tension built, the speculation grew, and part 2 of this saga ends on a simmering note. Alleged leaks, public reactions, social media debates, and psychological intimidation campaigns all point to one unavoidable truth. Tato's return is rewriting the rulebook, and everyone in Chicago is forced to pay attention, laugh, or run. And if history is any indicator, when the streets pay attention, consequences follow. And here's where things get really messy. Because when you mix history, ego, and street politics, the fallout isn't hypothetical. It's inevitable. Tato didn't just come back with watches and chains. He came back with a storm of expectations, rivalries, and grudges that have been simmering for over a decade. Chicago didn't forget blood money. It didn't forget Capo. And it definitely didn't forget every Glow Gang affiliate who got caught slipping. The city is a pressure cooker, and Tato just dropped the lid. Already, whispers of retaliation were circulating. Fake insiders claimed that 600 affiliated crews were plotting their moves. Sources leaked stories of rival groups checking addresses, tracking movements, and preparing to respond in kind. One particularly dramatic source allegedly told a social media outlet, "Tato is walking into the lion's den wearing a crown and neon chains. They see that, they react. It's only a matter of time." Of course, whether this is true or part of the hype machine doesn't matter. The perception is reality on these streets. Every Instagram clip, every comment, every repost acts like a flare, lighting up old grudges and putting everyone on notice. Meanwhile, the Glow Gang narrative is twisting even further. Allegations that King Von backdoored blood money started circulating again, this time intertwined with Tato's return. Social media sleuths linked lyrics, Instagram posts, and timestamps to paint a picture of betrayal that some argue was more sinister than originally believed. Hypothetical investigative reports suggested Vaughn and other O-Black affiliates were already on edge, feeling exposed by Glow Gang's resurgence. Even if half of this is exaggerated or completely fabricated, it's creating a public story of inevitable revenge, loyalty tests, and possible chaos. On the financial side, reports of Tato's lavish spending continued to flood the rumor mill. Allegedly, private jets, exotic cars, and designer wardrobes weren't just about flaunting wealth. They were part of a psychological operation designed to assert dominance and intimidate rivals from a distance. One anonymous crew insider supposedly said, "It's like he's saying, 'I'm untouchable. I came from LA. I made it, and you're not even close. It's over the top, but it's working." And the internet ate it up. Reaction videos, parodies, and even music video-style recreations went viral. The combination of wealth, history, and open threats created a spectacle unlike anything the drill world has seen in years. And yet, for all the hype, the risk is real. Chicago doesn't forgive, and history doesn't lie. Blood Money's fate is the textbook example. Came back, celebrated, got ambushed, gone in seconds. Tato is essentially repeating the same narrative, with one major difference. Social media is broadcasting everything in real time. Analysts, fake or real, argued that this visibility could either act as a shield or a death sentence. One analyst commented, "It's like streaming your own heist on Instagram. Everyone knows the plan, the players, the location. Some people call it confidence. Others call it insane. And the tension is exactly what fuels the story. Public opinion is just as split as the streets. Die-hard Glow Gang supporters see it as a bold reclamation of legacy. Rivals see it as a dangerous provocation. And the casual observer? They're scrolling, shaking their head, laughing at memes while unknowingly watching a potential disaster unfold. One particularly sarcastic social media post went viral. Tato out here showing off 4 watches and threatening to fold people into suitcases. This ain't music, this is performance art at a funeral. And yet, beneath the jokes, everyone knows there's a real weight to these threats. In Chicago, words like fold you up, put you in a suitcase aren't metaphorical. They're coded history, and they're always remembered. The government angle? Allegedly, city officials are paying attention. Not officially, of course, but enough that security analysts, fake and real, are buzzing. Some reports suggested informal investigations into who might be in the city, which streets are hot, and whether public safety could be compromised. One insider claimed, "You think they're just watching Instagram clips for fun? Nah, they're monitoring movement, potential escalation, and threats. It's like a slow-motion traffic report for violence. Whether or not these rumors hold water, they add to the narrative of inevitability, tension, and public spectacle. Legal and music industry reactions are also entering the story. Hypothetically, if something were to go sideways, Keef's management and LA-based team would likely be in crisis mode. One leaked imaginary report suggested lawyers are ready, managers are strategizing, and anyone affiliated with the crew is on alert. And this isn't just drill music drama anymore, it's a potential international incident if things escalate. Fans speculated, would record deals be affected? Could Glow Gang affiliates face legal repercussions for online threats? And, as always, the line between entertainment, ego, and actual danger is razor thin. And then, of course, there's the psychological angle. Returning to the streets where your family was taken, flexing wealth and threatening rivals in the open, it's a power play, yes, but it's also a ticking time bomb. Analysts, trolls, and fans alike are asking, is this courage, stupidity, or some combination that only Tado could pull off? The city's memory is long. Every ally, every enemy, every incident is cataloged in the concrete, in the block gossip, and in the social media feeds. Walking back into that environment, live streaming your return, is basically asking the universe to decide your fate. By now, the pattern is obvious. Glow Gang members leave Chicago. They come back. They make noise. Sometimes they survive. Sometimes they become the next cautionary tale. Blood Money's story is a chilling reminder of the stakes. Tado's story? Still unfolding, but every social media post, every cryptic lyric, every threat is a page in the same narrative book. And as the drill world watches, one thing is certain. Chicago isn't letting this story go quietly, and neither is the internet. Fans, theorists, and trolls all agree on one point: the city, the history. And the stakes make Tado's return the most high-profile, high-risk, and high-drama moment in recent drill history. Whether it ends in dominance, chaos, or tragedy remains to be seen, but the story is already etched in headlines, timelines, and feeds everywhere. Alleged leaks, public outcry, and the memory of blood money combine to create a perfect storm. And in this storm, every chain, every watch, every word, and every post counts. Tado is standing in the same neighborhoods that consumed his cousin, flaunting wealth and legacy like a neon warning sign. The streets are buzzing. Alleged rivals are watching. Social media is dissecting. History is waiting. And somewhere between reality and exaggeration, the next chapter is about to be written. Will it be a triumphant reclamation of Glow Gang power, or another tragic echo of the past? The truth, like the city itself, is dangerous, messy, and impossible to ignore. So, what does all this chaos really mean? Is Tado about to rewrite Glow Gang history, or is he walking straight into a repeat of Blood Money's nightmare? The streets are watching, the fans are reacting, and social media is buzzing with speculation faster than you can hit refresh. Every chain, every watch, every thread on camera isn't just for show, it's a message, a challenge, and maybe even a countdown. Think about it. A cousin comes back, flexes like a king, calls out enemies, and reminds the city that Glow Gang is still alive and dangerous. It's bold, it's reckless, it's headline-making, and yet, underneath all the hype, there's a shadow of history, of loss, and of lessons that Chicago doesn't forget. Will this be another cautionary tale? Or will Tado flip the script and survive where others didn't? Only time, and maybe a few viral videos, will tell. So here's the question for you. Are we watching a legendary comeback, or the beginning of another tragedy? And drop your thoughts in the comments because this is far from over. Hit like if you're ready for every shocking update, smash subscribe to stay on top of the story as it unfolds, and turn on notifications. Trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next. The streets are talking, the internet is buzzing, and the story is only getting started.